everybody. Welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses, and the only podcast, where we take a look at the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I am Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I am Joe, an Anime Sicko.
Joe, how was your week?
It was... I spent 6 days at a mood disorder unit psych ward, which that was a first for me.
Yeah.
That was a first for me, yeah.
It was not in the cards, not in my calendar. I didn't have that down. I gotta tell you, here's how I found out. Here's my perspective. It's Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday that this begins. I get a text from your fiance saying, "Yeah, Joe has in the hospital," and I'm like, "Oh, no, fuck." And I want, obviously, I'm terrified, and I'm like, "Is he okay? What's going on? Please tell me all the information you can." But I don't want to do that because, obviously she is so fucking busy and stressed dealing with it actually that, she doesn't have the time to relay everything to the crying man on the phone. So I'm, just sort of sitting that whole day being scared because what's happening?
Yeah, so what happened was that week I started a PHP program that's like those partial hospitalization programs where you learn how to, one, get very good medication management. They adjust everything and find out what's best, and also all the important brain skills that help keep the worst of the mood stuff away. What they did...
That seems good. I mean, that sounds like what you need, because, prior to that, it was just... It did feel like your doctor was every, couple of weeks was like, "I invented a new prank pill that has only side effects. Take this, idiot." And you had to be like, okay.
Well, the issue with that is that prank doctor also worked at the PHP program. I have been on a very low dose of lithium to potentiate my antidepressant. This is just me speaking. This is not medical advice. I'm just telling you what has been given to me and the reason why. And because it's such a low dose, if you're on lithium, they have to check your blood levels, and within certain therapeutic ranges, and you can say your lithium levels are high enough to get a therapeutic effect, or they're too low, they're not doing anything.
So I understand what you're saying. It's basically they take your blood and they're like, you only have 3 lithiums in here. You're not going to feel anything from that. It's not doing anything. So why take it?
Correct.
That kind of thing?
Yes,
okay.
That's exactly it. And my levels were low because I was taking a low dose once a day. And the prescriber there was like, "We can take you off of it. Let's drop that, and if you will add something later if need be, but let's focus on upping your primary SSRI, and then we will go from there." She chunked it, dude.
No!
She chunked it so bad.
My boy needs his rare earth metals.
I need to eat a fucking car battery, evidently. So I quickly fell off a cliff, both depression and anxiety. It was quite awful. I didn't go to the PHP program the following day because I was just so worn out from the experience to begin with, and also I was down and without lithium, which I will soon find out I fucking need, I think.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday I got up and I was like, if I have to drive like this, it will be unsafe. It felt like I felt both catatonic and completely wired at the same time. Any metacognition was frightening to me. I was just, in general, everything was scary. I just had irrational fear of everything. When Grandpa Simpson is like, death. That's Maggie. Death. It was a little bit like that. But it felt very fucking real. And with that comes some passive suicidal ideation. Now I wasn't planning anything, obviously, but like you can understand, like if I'm stuck feeling like this, all I can think about is like wanting to sleep and not wake up from this sort of deal.
Yeah, that's I'm no medical professional. You know, I got no degree in psychology or any related field. To me, and from my opinion, I'm just judging what is being laid out in front of me. That's bad.
Yeah. So I went with Winnie. Winnie took off work to help me. Thank God. I just walk to the hospital and I go up and I'm like, "Hello, the skeleton in my brain is about to hatch. Please."
Hello, sir. I have lost my mind.
And
can I go to the safe place?
And this is also, like, I think was a large source of anxiety for me in general. Is I guess I was always afraid of seeming like a uncompliant, mentally ill person. Like that is something that I guess I've always been like afraid of.
Yeah. You don't want to. It doesn't seem like a valid excuse to just because I am undergoing a mental health crisis. That doesn't mean I get to break the rules.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just like kind of like calm, but obviously I feel like the worst I've ever felt in my fucking life. And then you get triaged. The nurse, takes in all my information, and I mentioned like this anxiety is like comes with this just awful, like annoying, passive, suicidal ideation, and I could see her trying to type in. She was typing SUI in like the thing for it to bring up the symptom, and nothing was coming up. And I was like, "Oh shit, has it never happened before here?"
You were invented it. Oh
no. But I watched her like scroll and try to find it for a very long time, and I was feeling awful, but also at the same time like, this is so fucking funny. This is so funny. And then it turns out she had to type mental, and then there's dash, and then the words we needed.
Okay. So here's where I'm at this time. I got that text from your fiance, from Winnie, pretty much first thing in the morning, and my wife is also very good friends with both you and Winnie, so it would only make sense that I would share the news with her. But I was just like, it's so early in the morning. I'm like, this is freaking me out so much. Like, I cannot handle sharing this news with someone else right now. It's just like I'm just gonna sit on it because like I don't have the gas in the tank right now to like really grapple with this news. So I was like, on one hand, I'm like, oh god, my best homie. I hope he's okay. What's happening? I wish I could hear from him. I wish I could say something to him. Oh no. But at the same time, I'm also just sort of like dissociating, and I'm just like doing my little job and like breathing very normally. And I'm just thinking like, later this evening, I'll be able to tell my wife about this, and I'll have the capability to do that. And also by then, I'll be able to, ask Winnie for, some more information, because by that point, things are going to be all tied up. She won't be busy, handling the logistics or anything. I won't be bugging her to do that. So, prior to telling my wife about it, I ask at about 5 p.m. I ask your fiance, like, hey, is there any news? Like, what's going on? Can you give me more information? And she replies, yeah, I just got out of the hospital now. And I'm like, oh, just?
Yes.
Oh, just now?
Yes. I was, when you have a mental health crisis with the emergency department, they put you, they give you paper clothes, and then they put you in a safe room that just had a stretcher. Like, Winnie could sit in there with me, but like it was clear that like I'm just supposed to be here until room at the relevant ward opens up. And that was from 9 to fucking 5, and like my back hurt so bad because I was just laying on this like itty bitty stretcher. It sucked. So yeah, so when she texted you like oh, I just left. What that actually means in the bigger context is like I just was put in the proper ward now. Like now I'm getting my room set up.
That's so fucked. Like I'm in a very precarious state. Everything feels miserable, and it's like, oh, dope. Okay, sit on this crappy bed all day.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like tried doing like little stretches on it, trying to make the best of it, but it was just like really bad. So you do another intake. So yes, I was still in paper clothes, but this is where you can change into like clothes that pass the safety test. And unfortunately, everything I had did not pass the safety test because I had a hoodie, and Uniqlo makes like pants that are supposed to look like real people pants, but they're secretly pajamas.
Yeah, they're jammies, dude. They got a little jammy drawstring on the inside. I love those. I wore my pair of those jammy pants so much until they lost all of their structural integrity. So now, if I put them on, you can see it all. You see everything.
Yeah, so the jammy pants were not safe. So the only thing I got to keep was my undershirt. So my fit was the paper. It's like a big paper David Byrne suit with my a little V-neck,
which you could obviously see through the paper to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah. That's the look. That's the look.
But then yes, the nurse there who did the intake, they asked me, a bunch of questions similar to what they kind of asked me, trying to gauge my level of crisis and like just constant questions that relate to safety checks and all that sort of things. We talked a little bit about Elden Ring, which was very funny.
Hell yeah.
I was like, I heard it's like a really accessible Souls game, one of the most. And he's like, yeah, like you can do summons, he was like, give me all the reasons why it's actually like more friendly. You can kind of like cheese some stuff. And I was like, cool. Obviously I felt like shit, but it was like nice to just be reminded in this moment that like, yes, gaming.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And apparently that was like a theme that like a lot of the stuff you would tell me, because eventually I did get to speak with you, because you obviously can't have a phone when you're in there because that's the hell portal.
Yeah, if I could post in there, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I would make everyone around me unhealthy.
Yeah. So I knew that was, out of your hands. So I'm like, shit, geez, I can't. On one hand, I was like, I'm scared because like my friend is having a health emergency and I have no idea what's going on, and I can't. I just want to hear one thing from him, one sort of like, yeah, I'm doing okay, and like that would put my mind so much at ease. But on the other hand, a lot of it was just like, I really take it for granted that I can talk to you and send you shit every day. Like I would see a post that was just really dumb, and I'd be like, oh. And like, it was like having a phantom limb, dude. It was like, and my arm's cut off, and I go to pick something up, and I'm like, oh wait, like that arm got cut off. Oh, it was bullshit. But when I finally got to visit you, I visited you on that Saturday. You told me some shit that made me understand that this psych ward was opposite world in a very
positive way.
Yes, exactly. Because I had already heard from Winnie that she had tried to bring you some graphic novels, and they were rejected by the staff for being, quote, too grotesque. That was when I really knew you were in good hands. That's when I knew he's going to recover, because these people know what they're talking about.
Yeah. So the books I did have was What's Michael, the manga about a cat that you got me.
Yeah.
And then both of Devin's books, which I read both of those while in there, and that was awesome.
Yeah. By Devin, you mean Dr. Devin Price, author of Laziness Does Not Exist and Unmasking Autism, previous Gesto Mode goer, and current cool person.
Yes. Those three books I call like my library. So like when I was bored, I'd be like, gotta rearrange my library. And I would, just put them in a different order.
And then you also told me that because you were reading Devin's books, another opposite world thing happened to you.
Oh, yeah. The occupational therapist came in and they were like, oh, I heard about this book. Also heard about this author, and laziness does not exist. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, they're a friend of mine. And I actually interviewed them on my podcast. And they were like, oh, what's the name of the podcast? And I'd be like,
No.
Sickos podcast.
In any scenario, revealing that much information to a stranger about our podcast is a recipe for like contempt.
I'm already in like the worst place I can be mentally, right? So like, what do I have to lose? They can't take me to a different ward, I think, at this point.
But
they both laughed at the name, which is like, thank God.
yes, I think people have like criticized us for having a name that makes no sense and doesn't describe the tone or content of the show, and fair. But also, I think it serves a very good purpose in that if you don't think it's funny, you're not gonna like the show, and if you do think it's funny, then you're in.
Yeah. And they also gave me a yoga mat, which I basically did constantly. I wasn't in groups because the room's small. And it was just like, well, I guess I'll do some cats and cows again. One of the most frustrating aspects of it is because you can't have pencils or pens for safety reasons. You have to fucking write in crayon all the time. And I was trying to write like in my notebook, and it's anything you write in crayon, you look like a huge idiot baby. It doesn't matter how smart the words are. I cannot take it seriously if you write in crayons. I might as well have started making the R's backwards.
Yep. It's crayons are for the paper placemat menu at the pancake house where your parents are taking you.
I wrote that they had an exit survey, and I was like, you can probably give us golf pencils are probably fine, and they also make flexible pens. Have you considered that? That was like my biggest hang up because my hands would smell like fucking like crayon.
Crayon is like an inherently baby item.
Yes.
Like, unless maybe if you're like a multimedia artist who's like mixing charcoal and crayon together on a new canvas. Like, okay, maybe. But like, even then, you have to have a pretty good artist statement to sell me on why is there a crayon here.
Yeah, and basically anytime I did worksheets or whatever, I was doing them in crayon, which just, again, really highlighted like what a basic level I'm at in many ways right now.
It also forces you to write really big.
Yes, I think that's the other issue is like I like to like write and just kind of cram everything together, and I'm like literally unable to do that.
On the flip side, though, another reason that this place is opposite world is like you were describing to me a situation in which, like, in short, what the staff said to you was, well, clearly, since you're self-evidently not a dumb baby bitch, we don't have to worry about this stupid, tedious shit. And I'm just like, wait a minute, Joe, that doesn't make sense because we are dumb baby bitches and we do have to do the tedious shit. And certainly no one in power would ever say otherwise.
Yeah. So the issue here is I've had like very bad anxiety for most of my life and just sort of dealt with it. And a common prescribed anxiety pill is benzos. But every time I have been prescribed them, like the tone is that like I'm a criminal. Like it's just like
they shame you.
Like you make sure you take this, but like only if you really need it. Like if
don't get addicted, you druggie.
Yeah, so that was kind of always been like the sort of the tenor. And the nice thing was that the care team, the doctor, the attending physician, the resident, and the medical student, all there, the group to gawk at me was just like, you are an intelligent man and you are aware of your own symptoms. You can take this as needed. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, we are confident that you will not abuse this.
Yeah, and that felt like really good. It's also like probably the first time I've like heard that. Because all the time before it's just like, remember, like, only take it if you're gonna die, but like even then, maybe not. The next day, they like said something again, like, you're an intelligent man, and I wanted so bad, dude, to be like, yeah, and I'm cute too, but I just, I kept it cool, and I nodded politely.
Hell yeah.
So after waking up in the first night, then the next day I started doing groups. Basically, they have group work, like occupational therapy or like social stuff, every 2 hours, and each of those groups lasts an hour. So I was definitely not too cool for school. I'm like, I'm in here. Let's do the stuff. Like I will give it my best. One thing that definitely happened is even when I'm doing something, there's often a nagging sensation that's like, this is kind of stupid, but like not in a way that would stop me from doing it. That little nagging thing was gone. Like, it's just gone because like I'm here.
Yeah. There's no denying that you're here now.
I'm here. So I completely surrender in that sense. And that was like very helpful. The other thing was like, it wasn't a good time. It was nice to get a phone detox, truly. Holy shit.
Yeah, there was a lot of shit that was going on the phone, on the Twitter when you were in there that really sucked. I mean, nothing noteworthy. It never is. But just like, yeah, the phone sucks.
It does. And it was like the first day I almost felt sort of that phantom limb feeling, which is just like, I'm bored, and I would like reach for something to scroll, like not like actually, but like my brain wanted to do something.
Yes.
My brain wanted to pick something up. That didn't last much longer. That lasted after like a day without it. But also on the first day, they reintroduced me to lithium, and so like the first pill, like the first dose, like I felt the lights start turning on, and I was like, holy shit.
Hell yeah.
Holy shit. And then the second dose, I took it, and like I was hungry for like dinner. Like actually, like I was like banging my knife and table to get the awful hospital food.
You said it's okay. So I asked you when I visited you that because when you come out of the elevator to the floor that your ward was on, the first thing you see is the 4th floor of the hospital Panera Bread, the most cursed restaurant, the most cursed eatery I can imagine. I can't fathom a more just deeply stressful meal than a $15 bread bowl of Panera soup on the psych ward at the hospital. And I was like, do they let you go to the Panera?
I didn't know there was one out there.
Fuck.
So the first day of meals, they just gave me like a random whatever because you fill out a menu. But because I had not filled out a menu the previous day, they just, got nutty with it.
Yeah, they gave you the default, the sampler.
And I was given cottage cheese like twice in a like lunch and dinner. And like cottage cheese is so good when you don't have a bitch in your ear telling you it's nasty.
I'm the bitch. That's me.
Yeah, you are the bitch. It's good. I would put some fruit in it. I don't care. It was nice. And in fact, since I got home, I bought more.
Oh my god. Fuck. So okay, let me get some more perspective on how I was experiencing this. So I was still in the sort of like in the dark for a long time because you went in on a Wednesday. I didn't get to see you until Saturday. So there's a couple of days where I'm just sort of like freaking out because, and here's where my fear came with. And if you've listened to Anime Sickos, you know this won't surprise you. Joe's a depressed guy, and it was very tough as a friend and homie to see. It seemed like no matter what was happening, no matter how much time went by, no matter how many new things were getting introduced, and I don't know exactly how it's going. Now, this is just what I'm seeing. That like you just kept getting worse. Like there was never any relief. You were always in.
It's whack-a-mole. They were doing fucking whack-a-mole. and nothing was really that effective. And it was just, certainly this was the case in my 20s. I was just under medicated for many things, I think, and trying to get everything set up and in order also involved more switching, which, all this shit takes time. Like the SSRIs ramp up in 4 to 6 weeks. And that's the other fucking thing that was like so lucky that lithium was the issue, because the lithium is instant, right? Like it's just immediately in your bloodstream. Like I was like at first like, what if we can ascertain the thing that needs to happen, but we're talking another 4 to 6 weeks. Like that's just fucking, oh my God. But no, I had to eat a little car battery.
Yeah. Hell yeah. But like the whack-a-mole shit, even from outside, it just looks like you're just constantly trying, you're constantly banging your head against the wall and nothing's happening. And then I get this fucking news, this barest scrap of news. I can't get any sort of, barely can get any clarifying information. I can't hear from you. You're in the fucking hospital now. I'm just like, he not only has it been getting worse for like so much time, but like now like this is the worst it can get. Like, oh shit, like what's gonna happen? Like I'm freaking out here. And so like I had my therapy session the next day, my normal one, and my therapist was like, so how's your week been? I'm like, let me tell you about this shit's going on with my friend. And she was like, well, actually, like, you shouldn't be that scared. In fact, he's in the least scary place he can be. And then I was like, oh.
Correct.
Oh, good point. And that put me at ease. And then when I went to visit you, so I was so paranoid about, like, doing it wrong. Because I was convinced the following things would happen. One, I would be late because of traffic, and I would miss it, and you would be sitting in the little chair and with a little pointed party hat and a little cake that says Tom loves you, Joe, and the candle would burn down, and then the lights would turn off and you'd cry because I never showed up. I was sure that would happen. Number 2 is I would get there on time, but I would do the check-in wrong and get lost. And then 3, I guess, is they would consider my overall tone too aggressive for the ward, and I would be not allowed in. So I was so careful. I was there half an hour early. I had Winnie go over the process like 2-3 times. I would then be like, okay, here's where I'm going. Here's what I'm doing. And I would say it all. And I was like, okay, I got this. And also one of the things was that like there was a password that you had to say to be let into the visiting hour. Mm-hmm. And yours was pillars after the 4 pillars. Yeah. Very funny.
The reason I picked that was because when it was time to like get processed, I was texting, like as much as I could. It was like I was quickly trying to have like last communications after a while for relevant and important people. Yeah. And like my therapist, and then the people at the PHP program that fucked me up. And I was like, I got for Tom. I was like, I'll just make the password him because I know. Yeah, I'll make the password pillars because that'll get to him very quickly. Yeah.
So when I got there, one, I did get lost. I walked straight past the door to your ward, and I ended up in a dead end. And I became panicked because I'm like, well, I've walked past every door in this hall, and none of them were it, so I must be in the wrong hall. Oh, God. And then I saw someone press a button on, like, some supply cabinet door, and someone opened it, and it was actually the ward. It was not the door is so nondescript. It is... No one would think that that's where the ward is. Anyway, I was then able to be like, oh, also me. And I'm filling out this little form. They're like, you have to fill out this form as your visitor and put your name, when you got here, et cetera, if you brought anything, what your relationship is to the person you're visiting, et cetera. I'm like, got it. And then I'm like, okay. And one of the boxes says, like, did you say the password? Yes or no? And I say, oh, this one says, did I say a password? The lady does not respond. I wait a beat, and I'm like, it's pillars. Does not respond. I put a Y in said password. Because I was like, I can't. It was so sweet of Joe to make the password pillars, and I can't just not say it. Fuck. But then, okay, so then I sat down in this little chair, and they make you do the visiting hours in the fucking hallway.
Well, not always. It's supposed to be in the dining area, but the issue was there was a staffing issue, so the people who would watch visitors and also watch the hallway had to consolidate efforts because there was only one person for those two things.
Yeah. So we were in the hallway, and it was ridiculous. And just as soon as I saw you, I was just like, all right, yes, like I'm not scared. I'm not nervous. This is good. This is working. Because, buddy, I've seen you. We've hung out when you're like down, and when I like saw the way you took a step, I'm like, that's a better Joe.
Oh yeah,
because like when you're like down. It's like, oh shit, like, oh no, like, what can I do? It's like nothing you can do. But like, it was such a breath of fresh air to not only see you for the first time in a while, but also like, okay, it's working. Like, fuck, yes.
Yes. And like, when I mean the lithium turned the lights back on, it's like, that's what I meant. Like, my dad said the same thing too. He was just like, you like look like different. Like, you look different in a good way.
Yes. It was, yeah. It's legit. I will say, though, that I brought in... Winnie gave me a bag of extra T-shirts and boxer shorts, no drawstrings, for me to bring to you. She's like, you just give them to the lady, and they'll give them to him. And I said, okie dokie. And so when I did that, they took out in front of us every single piece of clothing, every T-shirt, every underwear, and they unfolded it completely and looked at both sides before said, okay, this is safe, this is good.
What they also do that if you're a patient to your dick. I want to be clear.
No!
Like, what during the intake and they do the skin check, they really want to make sure you don't have anything on you. And it was, I think that also sort of like sped up the acceptance because I was like, oh, fucking doing this? Okay, all right. And also, each little room has its own bathroom, thank God. The issue is that the bathroom is like on the exterior wall where like all the nurses and staff hang out. So like, if you want to go to shit, it's just like everyone is there. And it was absolutely like it was such a lower order concern compared to what else I was going through, but like it was just such a needless little thing that I couldn't stop thinking about.
This is that reminds me of another thing that was causing me great distress until I learned more about it, which was when I was first made aware that there were visiting hours and that like I would have a slot to visit you, because obviously, you know, Winnie and your family are going to take the first come first serve slots, and I don't know how long you're going to be there. Maybe, you know, by the time your family is all seeing you, there's going to be no more days. You're going to be already out. So, but when she told me like there's going to be a slot for you on Saturday, I'm like, oh hell yeah. She was like, by the way, he hasn't like worked up the motivation to take a shower yet. Can you get a bathrobe that stays closed but doesn't have a belt? Which I read that and I'm like, you're asking me for a bag that's full but isn't heavy. Like, that's such a thing does not exist. But my main thought was like, oh fuck, like being so depressed that like you can't build up the willpower to bathe. Like,
oh no, that was not
really
it. The
bad.
shower was fucking awful.
Yeah, no, I heard. Then when we were when we got to your house and Winnie told me with words and not just a line in text what the shower situation was, I'd be like, oh, I also would not be showering. Fuck.
Yeah, there were two showers. There was the main one, which the water wasn't working properly, so they had maintenance doing something. So the other shower it was in one of the unused rooms. Like, one of the rooms was like a suite that had two rooms connected, and they shared a bathroom. In that bathroom, there is a shower, but like everything else there, it is a, let's say, safety proof for, you know, people in mental distress. So it's like, not accommodating. It's like the shower curtain is intentionally like a third of the length, so there's like no privacy. It's just there's nowhere to put anything, like because there's no shelves or anything, so you just have your towel and everything just on the ground. It was a very unpleasant experience.
Yeah, I heard about that and was like, oh, fuck that shit.
Like, it would have been better if they gave me a hose, and that would have been nice.
There was some other kid who, okay, I mentioned that they unfurled every single piece of clothing to make sure that it didn't have any swear words written on it or whatever. This other kid, his visitor brought him some books. One was The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. Great book. It's, deals with some extremely fraught themes.
It's not the H.G. Wells one where there's just a guy who's see-through.
No, it's about
racism.
About race in America.
Yeah,
how, it's awful. Anyway, but like fine, appropriate, sure. The other book that was being brought to him was House of Leaves, which I cannot imagine a less appropriate book for such a scenario.
House of Leaves gave me nightmares. I had weird, scary dreams after reading it for several weeks. And I read this a while ago, but because it's not like a grotesque graphic novel, you're like, House of Leaves, okay, that's a poem, right? All right, it's fine.
This is an anime. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I talked to him too, and I was like, "You reading that? That shit rules."
Fuck.
So like, you develop a very interesting relationship with everyone because you're all doing these things, and you're all like, as vulnerable as each other because you're all obviously recovering from a state of crisis.
Yeah. No one, you can't feel intimidated or like dominated by someone because like everyone's like, "Hello, I'm at my lowest point."
Right.
I'm so scared.
But one of the things that is interesting is like the way that those like the group that you're with does sort of like provide like emotional bolstering for you, even if they don't realize it. There was a guy from Tom. It was like he was manifested because we joked about it too much. Like he was a college guy, and he said beast mode like just all the time. Oh my god! Like I would do puzzles with him, and I would like hand him a corner piece, and he'd be like, "Nice, beast mode."
This is the guy who was at the airport in Spain. And when his friend couldn't get the candy out of the vending machine, said, "You should shoot it with a big gun." Like, this is that kid.
But that guy was he was very important. He helped a lot. Like, he might not have been aware of it, but like he was rapidly healing me. Just hearing the other thing. The other thing that I like do when I'm playing like board games or something, or in this case a puzzle, like if I move a piece, I'll be like ba-bam, like I'll just say that, and he does it too, but he says "kerchow."
He's Owen Wilson.
And it was wonderful. Oh, another way Beast Mode Guy healed me is that when there was visiting hours actually in the dining room. Winnie and I were there, and I think his sister came in, and he was just like, "Nice fit," and like it made me feel so good. Like, it was just so funny.
I wish if only he could have also said "drip" at some point.
Nice fit, and not like completely sincere. It was just really good, and like my little green health bar got like a little longer.
Aww. What a king.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there was a guy who was a little older than me who, in fact, worked at the same company I did at my last job at the same time during a massive layoff wave, so we got to complain about that together. That was kind of funny.
Hell yeah.
One thing that, in addition to obviously getting like the chemicals right in my brain, I guess I always had some like weird aversion to like getting help. I'd feel like sort of, I don't know, apprehensive about asking for help. I never felt comfortable asking for help. Like, I would do it. I'm not saying I avoided it completely, but it was always like this thing that kind of bugged me about it. And this experience really kind of beats this out of you because you're like nothing. You can't do anything, and everything you need has to come from someone you need to ask for help. Like I need my medicine. Like, oh, hey, can I get another blanket? Like, just like every interaction, I'm practicing asking for help.
Yeah. I remember when you signed up for the PHP prior to this, and you were just telling me when you had said you hadn't gone yet, they hadn't fucking taken out your battery.
They're like, it's fine.
Yeah, so you don't need this. But when you was just set up and it was like on the calendar, it's like a thing you were gonna do. You said to me something to the effect of like it just knowing that this is happening is so helpful because it feels like finally I'm going to get treatment that is commensurate with the size of the problem, which I think is not well it's obviously your situation, but I think also just like as a whole a huge problem with the world in general. Like every problem that there is has a solution that is so much, rather a solution. The prescribed solution is so unequipped to meet the need.
A huge part of it is that like this is the first time in my life like all unnecessary inputs have been removed. Like I was basically the only thing for me to do was focus on like being there and eating 3 times a day.
We talk about how the 4 pillars of modern misery are the only things you can do. This place was a place where those 4 pillars had no power over you.
Yes. There was no anime. That's just fucking great. Because you can really only watch certain things on the TV because they have to pass sort of the same trigger and safety concerns that many other things do. So what that basically left us is 2 options. 90 Day Fiance and shows about tough guys on boats like Wicked Tuna. Those were basically our 2 options. You can't game in there. It's a game-free zone. You can only play Uno, which doesn't count because you don't like level up and get new avatars. Uno is pure.
Yeah. You can't be like a cleric of Uno. It just is Uno.
Yeah, Uno, beautiful. It's also just like a wonderful game because it is so easy. First of all, most people know how to play it. And also it's low complexity, really great for a situation where everyone is really on edge but doesn't know how to like unwind.
Also, it's like 0 decision making, so like cognitively, it asks nothing of you.
Yeah, it's perfect. No jobs, dude. This is like they set up a job-proof dome around.
Hell yeah.
Like no one can contact you. There's nothing work-related.
Yeah, I love it. And also, I mean, and we've already discussed this, but like they take your phone away, so like they unplug you from the Matrix, basically.
Yeah.
Like, you're just allowed to breathe in your little baby body.
Yeah. And it's funny how, one, it felt really good not to be looking at my phone all the time. And I know, I'm just not saying this like I'm surprised about this. I know it sucks. Like, this is why I'm I hate this device so much. It's like I don't understand that the phone is annoying and bad for me. I do, and I will continue to do it. That sucks worse. Do you not see how that's worse?
Yes.
So, like, a lot of it would just be like me laying in the bed and being like, what are some fucking good jokes I like? Like what are things that have stuck with me? And I just off the top of my head, I thought about, I think my favorite 30 Rock joke of just Jackie Jorp Jomp, which was the Janis Joplin legally distinct name. Yeah. And then there's a joke in The Critic I really like. Did you ever watch The Critic?
I watched like clips, and I've seen a few episodes. I never like watched it all the way through.
I remember it being pretty good. I don't know how much it holds up, but Jay Sherman, the critic, is talking with his dad, and his dad's like, Jay, I have something to tell you. when you were a baby, I dropped you on your head. And Jay's like, oh, it's okay, Dad. He's like, oh, no, for a whole day.
Fuck, that's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit. Speaking of jokes that I love, when we were writing the sketches episode, I needed to come up with a name for a group of two guys that sounds like anime sickos. And you may remember, if you listen to the sketches episode, during the Hype House sketch, what happened was that Northrop Grumman wanted to get the Ativan Psychos into the Hype House, but instead they made a mistake and got the anime sickos. And I felt a little nervous writing that joke because I loved it, for one. But also, I'm like, what are the... You think it might be that, like, there's someone out there who, like, needs Ativan, who's going to, like, feel hurt about this, or like gonna feel offended, like, how dare you say that? I really felt attacked by you guys. I trusted you, and like that's really gonna be devastating if that happens.
And if it does, it doesn't matter because they gave me Ativan. I became an Ativan psycho. Yeah, like it happened to me. It happened to me. The first time I went on, like, my anxiety is through the roof. Like it's always really bad in the morning, and they're like, can I get something for that? And they're like, we can do Ativan, and I was like, oh, the joke that's really good that I love.
We're them now, dude.
Yeah.
You also got given a sleeping pill. I see. Tell here that
that's tradazone. Tradazone is interesting because it
takes you to the trad zone. Yeah, we're all Catholic now, baby.
It's a sleep aid. I think it does other shit, but for me, it was given to help me with sleep, and it gives me very vivid dreams, which is normally fine, except they just would always turn at the very end into, like, just a very awful nightmare. Like, I don't even remember the preceding dream, but it ended with, like, a guy trying to push a cat through a paper shredder, and I couldn't stop him. And, like, the gore was hitting my face and everything. And, like, I just woke up like that. And then when I told the care team that, like, the doctor and the resident and the medical student, they were like, yikes.
That's bad.
Another one I had, I was walking around my, like, childhood neighborhood, and then, like, it started to get dark and raining, and all the houses, like, were, like, changing and shifting, and I was, like, really lost and just trying to get home. And then there was, like, a group of cops, and I, like, walked up to them to ask, like, for directions, and then they shot me in the gut.
It's bad, but that last part is definitely on you.
Yeah, that was. It was. But
you should have known better. Don't you follow the news? Oh, fuck. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But shit. Another thing that really was a balm to me is that my therapist was telling me, not when she was like, yeah, he's in actually the safest place. Like, this is the time you should be least scared. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she was also like, another thing to note is that, like, these people they won't let him go if it's dangerous.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. So, like, when he's like, yeah, he's going to get out on Tuesday, I'm like, hell yeah, that means he's better.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I don't know about that, like, you're not, like, fixed, but, like,
crisis stabilization occurred.
That's lovely. To me, that's good as hell.
Yeah. I don't like that it happened due to obvious reasons. But it has left me a lot more patience with myself. And I think part of it is because I had to be, like, kind of baby mode, like, and just ask for help all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just acknowledging that that's, like, where I was at.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention also that before I was able to visit, I wrote you a little letter, which I was just like, I just needed, like, I learned that was a possibility that I had.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta take it because, like, I need to let him know, like, that I'm thinking about him, that I'm worried, that I'm looking forward to talking to him. And so I got out my piece of paper and I start writing, and I'm just like, oh no, instantly two things have come to my mind. One, I haven't written with my fucking hand in, like, ever. Like, I don't know how to do this. This is tough. Spelling things right on the first try, impossible. And then the second thing was like, oh no, don't know what to say. So I'm pretty sure I just like wrote the same paragraph like 3 times, just like, hello, Joe. I'm glad that you're getting cared for appropriately. I'm thinking of you. I can't wait till I can hear your voice again.
I added that to the letter section of my library. Like,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I also, when I was driving it down to your house so that Winnie could get it when she went to visit you later and have it be with the stuff that you get brought, I was like, oh shit, you know what I'll do? I'll beat the traffic. I'll drive down at like 1 p.m. Thursday on the highway to Joe's house. That won't be a lot of traffic. And, Winnie was like, you can give it to me when I get home from work. But it's just like, that's going to be, I'm having to drive at 5. So I'll just put it under the mat at 1. Genius. No. Cars suck fucking fuck. They are so bad. 1 p.m. on a Thursday, would you believe it's bumper to fucking bumper the entire way, both directions?
Cars
and
are
I remember,
so bad.
as I was fucking like finally turning onto your street, I was just like, man, this motherfucker. Like, I really care about this stupid bitch. I can't believe I had to do this. Sucks. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. 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 Wow, wife alert, wife alert. Joe, I have a tangentially related to the topic at hand update about the wife email. By update, I mean this occurred in 2017, but I just learned about it now.
Hit me.
Apparently, nearly a year after the wife email itself, the account at RIP Marcus J posted the following. And you'll recall that the original author of the wife email, where he informs the husband of a woman named Laura that he, Marcus, is going to be moving in town so that he can more easily fuck Laura. And it's actually totally fine that this is happening, and you shouldn't be worried. So,
like, I get what he's saying from a logistics standpoint. It's just weird.
Yes, so Marcus J has said this. He is now posting under RIP Marcus J. And he says, and again, this is reportedly 1 year after the original wife email was sent and posted. That feel when you help your girlfriend crowdfund $13,000 to go to a mental wellness facility for a month, and she dumps you via email while there.
It's fucked up that they let her use the computer.
Yeah! Oh, shit! They didn't let you use computers because it's fucking... That's best practices. That's health first. That's evidence-based treatment.
I was referring to as... There were times when I referred to my lack of phone as like going Dune. I would say that. I'm like, in Dune mode right now. I can only do Dune things.
That's fucking good. Well, she should have been going Dune. Well, okay. Actually, I was about to say she should only be able to do Dune things. But also, I think this is very much the same sort of thing as hearing that they thought your graphic novels were too grotesque, where it was like, okay, this place is legit. If you are Laura from the wife email and you go to a mental wellness facility and the first thing that you realize is, oh shit, I got to get rid of Marcus J. That means it's working.
13 grand.
Oh, fuck. Cat. Joe, when I was hanging around prior to going to visit you at your house with Winnie and my wife, we were hanging out. We had dinner afterwards as well. It was lovely. And one of the reasons it was lovely is that your fucking cats are so cute. They were chilling. They came
awesome.
out and hung out with us. You sent me a picture today of Ariel, like, cuddling you.
Yeah,
it was
like
cute.
She fell asleep in my armpit as I was also napping.
It was so cute. But then you told me some other shit.
Yeah, so we got woken up at 3 a.m. With this really loud crinkling in our ears. And the reason that sound was happening was because Ariel, our cat, took a bag of chips from the kitchen and brought them to us as a gift. And then, like, kept making noise so we would look at the gift.
What a fucking queen.
Yeah.
Incredible cat.
Yeah. The hour I didn't love.
The surrounding context, not great, but the core of it, lovely. What a sweetheart. You know who never brings me fucking chips is Lucy. That girl's such a bossy boots. Anyway, I think that's all the time we have for Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I've been Joe, an Anime Sicko.
We hope all of you out there are getting appropriate levels of care for your fucked up brains. It's good to do that.
Do it. Don't let it get worse.
Yeah. Anyway, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.